Welcome back to the Press Box Show. Chris Hunter along with Seth Thomas, and joining us now, the head coach of the Patterson Lumberjacks, Don Jones. Don, appreciate your time tonight.
Thank you very much for having me here.
Coming off a very uncharacteristic season, both for Patterson and you personally. 1-9 last year, won the opening game, and then things just did not go where you expected them. But that's all in the past. We're at a new season now. What's the attitude like over there in Patterson?
Well, it's turned around 100% because the day after football we started lifting weights, and I felt like we just wasn't physically strong enough. And so we started that, and we've accomplished that in the Jamboree. So much physically stronger. And I'm the first head coach that stayed there 2 years in 5 years. This is the first time a coach has stayed 2 years in a row. So, but I think that I feel good about this football team. I feel good about our coaching staff. After being the most hated man in Patterson for the last year, something had to give. And, I could have easily walked out the door, because I really don't have anything to prove. My record speaks for itself. But I promised Coach LaRive that we were going to get this. We had a vision, and our vision is to get this program headed in the right direction. And it was a nightmare last year, but we put that behind us now. And, I really feel good about our quarterback situation. We had a veteran quarterback that decided that he was not going to come back, and he just wanted to concentrate on baseball, which is, I respect that decision. And so we have more of an athletic type quarterback that can run. He broke one the other night. He can make a lot of things happen, and I feel like we've got a lot of weapons on offense. But defense, we played lights out in the scrimmage, in the Jamboree. And so we're excited about getting the season kicked off this week, again at 4 quarters, and see where we stand. And we've got a few injuries, but we hope that we can get them back in the next couple of weeks.
Let's go back to that offense. You were talking about Lewis Jones, your new quarterback. I was very impressed with his arm. In particular, there were a couple of plays, deep out throws, kind of 10, 15-yard out pattern, and he just threw the ball on a line. Very impressed with the arm strength. What do you feel like he gives you that you didn't have before with the previous quarterback?
Well, he gives us ability to run the football, and especially, he went back to pass a couple times. He got flushed, and he took off, and he broke about a 20-yard run and scored. And that kind of reminds me when I had when you have an athletic quarterback that can sprint and get on the corner, you put so much more pressure on the defense. If they know you're just going to throw, then it's one-dimensional. And for instance, when we had Dejon Richard at quarterback last year, part-time, they knew that he'd tuck it down and run, so it kind of opened up things. But feel real good about Lewis Jones and the protection that we were able to give him up front. Our offensive line really did a good job. And like I said, our defense, we scrimmaged South Lafourche, and they just really did an outstanding job. And we didn't look good on offense. We went by series and didn't have enough plays to work on things. And so what they do is 3 yards in the cloud. It does kind of like Kaplan. So in the 12-minute quarter, they kept it all but 2 minutes. They'd go for it on 4th down about 4 times. And so we didn't have about 2 minutes to score, so they beat us 7-0. But we came back, we worked on our mistakes, and we kind of opened up the offense a little bit. And I thought our kicking game looked pretty good, except the touchdown they ran back, and we had a break that we had some subs in. But our punter, Jose Rivera, and our kicker, he was 5 out of 5. He's getting better. And so I really feel good about this football team. And I don't know how many games we'll win, but our attitude is everybody's pulling together, working together. Coaches are working together. We running on the field, off the field. We look like a football team, and I'm very pleased with the progress we've made so far.
Coach, you talked about the coaches, and I know you were talking about that. Not just you being here 2 years, but now you've got a staff in place that you feel is really top rated, and they got everything covered. And I know as a head coach, you got to like that. Have guys you're comfortable with that know what you want to do, and you almost let them coach themselves. Now you're not coaching the coaches.
Right. Well, actually, I've been trying for about 2 years to get Will Broussard my defensive coordinator, we got him from Thibodeau High School, 5A school, but I actually coached him in high school. And so I've been trying to get him for the last couple of years. You know, he was at Berwick one year as defensive coordinator, and we finally got him. And he's really, the athletes that we have really have kind of responded to what he's doing, and it's just kind of all blended in together, you know. And, you know, all the coaches are really working hard, you know, like I say, both sides of the ball. And, you know, we just ready, like y'all were talking about a while ago, we're ready to get this season started and get things going.
You talked about the offensive line a little while ago, and it's such an advantage if you do have a young, inexperienced quarterback to have veterans in front of him. And you've got some outstanding linemen out there. James Gash, I know, is being looked at by some of the programs. Javin Turner. Now, does Turner have an injury right now? I noticed he was in the
Turner's got a high ankle sprain right now, so we're trying to let him get well. And, you know, when you have that high ankle sprain, it takes a little while. And so we're just trying to let him get 100%, you know, before we bring him back.
Okay. And Jarvis Jackson as well, outstanding.
Oh, no, Jarvis is doing a good job. James Gash. We moved Najee Washington to center. We got Gage Stelly, who's not quite as big, but he's a senior. He's got experience, started every game last year at center. And then we actually have a freshman, Elijah Robertson, playing left tackle that, you know, we had 15 freshmen that are just outstanding freshmen. I mean, all big, solid kids. Last night we won 16-12 over Franklin with our JVs, and most of them were freshmen. So, you know, the future is really bright, and we're really excited. You know, our defensive front, same thing. You know, we've got some young guys, but we got a mixture of, you know, older guys. Like Javin Turner, when he gets back, we feel like he can dominate the middle, along with JB. And we got C.J. Johnson, you know, that started last year as a true freshman that's really stepped up. And we just got some outstanding athletes over there. Elijah Williams, you know, was our leading interceptor last year. He's playing free safety, and a bunch of other guys that just blend in real well together. You know, of course, Traylon Bennett is one of the best linebackers I've ever coached, middle linebacker. He weighs 225, and we're letting him run the ball a little bit. But he's got potential to be an all-state linebacker and dominate this district, you know, at linebacker.
You mentioned a senior you lost, Dejon Richard, outstanding athlete, and he was your leading wide receiver last year. So you have to replace a lot of production from him on the offensive side. And I know you've got Kai Schecksnyder back, was an excellent wide receiver last year. Alan Langston's a guy who did a lot for you in running back. Anybody else that we're looking in particular that is going to have to or is capable of filling up and giving you some of that production that you lost from Dejon?
Well, you know, last year we started Kyler Paul at cornerback. And in the spring game against Cecilia, he scored 3 touchdowns, one from 70, 75, and he caught a 60-yard touchdown pass. The other night in the Jamboree, I think he scored 4 touchdowns. I don't know how many he scored, but if you saw that game the other night, this young man, and I coached him at Berwick, and so he is an unbelievable athlete. And my prediction is if he can stay healthy, that he'll be one of the greatest to ever walk the halls of Patterson High School. He does things that you can't teach kids. And when it's all said and done, that he'll be as good or maybe even a little better than Dejon Richard. And you mix in Alan Langston and Traylon Bennett at running back. One of them weighs 225, the other one weighs 215. The thing about Kyler Paul, he's got a veteran offensive line up there, but this young man, nobody's seen him full speed yet. He doesn't have to go full speed yet. And when you do see him full speed, you're going to really be shocked. He does what he has to do, and you know, he can make cuts just unbelievable. I don't know if you saw it the other night or not.
Well, I know that he comes from a very athletic family. I think he has a brother right now playing in college football as well. So I think it just shows you the kind of athletes. But you know, Coach, you had a little slip early in the program. Talked about Plaquemine. You know, he was there for a long time. But compare Patterson and Plaquemine. I mean, year in, year out, the athletes are there. You got to kind of put them together. But you know one thing when you step on the field that you're going to have some guys that can play.
Well, the thing about Patterson is what you have to realize is the last 5 years. And I think when Coach Minton left, the program was up there and they were just winning every year. And then Chad Blanchard stayed, I think, 1 year. He left, then they brought in another coach. And so I think what's happened is, we don't have as many kids. And when you bring in one coach after another coach after another coach, you don't have any stability. But when I first went there and now, I compare it kind of like Plaquemine. You're always going to have athletes, and it's just kind of molding them together and getting them to play, together. But you're right. This freshman group is really going to be something special. It's not a whole lot of skilled people, but I'm talking about defensive end, linemen, centers, and that's been a rarity, to have those type kids. Now next year I think they're going to get the skilled people. All
right, week 1 coming up. You got the West St. Mary Wolfpack coming into the Sugar Dome. What can you tell us about them?
I can't tell you anything about them. I don't have any film on them. We heard they changed their offense. Defensively, I looked at a little bit of what they did last year, but it's kind of scary not knowing how to prepare for them on defense, and they always going to have guys over there that can run, and we just tried to prepare for everything. I really don't know. We're excited to be able to play at home, and hope we can pick up where we left off in the Jamboree.
One thing about it too, Coach, one thing that doesn't change at Patterson is you got to find people above your classification to play. There's not a whole bunch of 2A and 1A teams that want to play Patterson, right. But I see on your schedule, Assumption, you got Lafayette, South Terrebonne, Morgan City, all 4 and 5A schools. And also, you changed districts. I thought last year you were probably in one of the best districts in 3A, right, with Kaplan and everybody. I think now you move to the best district, arguably, with Lutcher and St. James,
exactly.
E.D. White, the Parental Powers, Donisonville, always with the athletes. Berwick has been up, and you guys, and I just think that that's an outstanding district. But there's no soft spots there. You got every night you got to come ready to play.
Well, it is considered probably one of the best districts, if not the best district. The good news for us is we don't play St. James and Lutcher till the last 2 games. We got St. James there and then Lutcher at home to finish. And so hopefully we can build a little momentum, building up to that. And, Assumption's always going to be good, but I respect their coach, and, they're close and we wanted to play. And, I feel like hopefully we can compete with them, in Lafayette. We did drop Terrebonne and add South Terrebonne, and last year we played with Terrebonne for 3 quarters. So I really hope that we can just get a little momentum going and kind of keep it going and stay healthy.
All right, it all starts Friday night as Patterson hosts West St. Mary. That is the KWBJ Core Physical Therapy Game of the Week. So you'll join us for that one. Coach, thank you for joining us tonight.
Best of luck, Coach.
Thank you for having me.
Yes, sir.
God bless you all.
All right, stay with us. More of the Press Box coming up in just a moment.